Hey guys, Jared here, and I'm joined with by Diego, and
Hey,
we will be discussing the Microsoft's E3 2015 press conference. So first up was Halo 5 Guardians. So they were commenting about how it's gonna like harness the true power of the Xbox One and all that. Um, and one the cool thing is Nathan Fillion, who is a big fan of Halo, is playing a character in this game, and he's actually modeled into the game, and it looks exactly like him. But anyways, getting into it, something Diego noticed was that there's a lot of new enemies in this. So tell us what you
not
thought about some of
not
them.
exactly not exactly new per se. I mean,
Yeah,
some of
maybe not
them
new,
were in
like
Halo
different
4, but
variations or something like
different
that.
variations. Very nice. Always nice to see a bit of different elements to a game that will help change the experience a little bit, but not so much in a bad way. This
Yeah.
will definitely keep you on your toes.
Yeah, I don't know how many grunts are gonna be in this game, but anyways, because those guys were pretty frequent in the previous Halo games. So the interesting thing is, in Halo 5, you play as two different squads in the game, or at least the story follows two different Spartan squads, and the game features drop in, drop out co-op for the story. So
Always nice.
yeah, so it's interesting to see them do that with the Halo franchise, and then for the multiplayer. We didn't get too much information about a lot of the other game modes, but we know at least in one of the new game modes to the series, which is Warzone, we're gonna get 24 versus 24 player online matches, and yeah, so essentially Warzone. I guess I'll let you tell them about this.
Well,
Uh,
basically, it's from what we saw at the press conference. Hopefully, I'm not wrong, and it's actually just 24 players total, and not just
yeah,
24 versus
yeah. As I
24.
said
But
before, I thought
basically,
I saw a
it's two
16 listed
teams.
somewhere, but
Yeah, but yeah, I'll have to double check that. But like
hmm
basically, classic blue versus red clashing together, but the twist is that in the middle, there's also AI enemies that will try to kill both sides. And, what makes things a little more intense.
yeah, so it's pretty
Which,
cool. But hey, what were you saying?
no, I was finished. I was
Oh, it just
finished.
makes it more intense. But yeah, so interesting. I've seen some similar stuff in other games, but this seems to be like that theory, like that not theory, but this creative mode. It's like fully fleshed out this time. So we'll see what they got. So the next game they showed was Recore, which is also an Xbox One exclusive. And it's like a wasteland thing in the future. There's a female protagonist in this, and she's got like this robot dog with her, but it's not like just the robot dog. It's more like the whole game is sculpted around the idea of these cores, and these cores can like inhabit, like you can put them into any sort of robot, and it's kind of got like the core is like the memory bank for this program or whatever. So at one point during the trailer, the dog gets destroyed or blows itself up or something like
Or
that.
self destructs.
Yeah, yeah, and then she picks up the core and puts it into this even bigger like robot thing, and then it follows her, and
The fun thing was that it still seemed to have the mind of a dog, but
yeah.
yeah, the body didn't really have a dog body. But
Uh, Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So it seems like there's several different variations of these robot companions that you can have. Also, I should have mentioned before on Halo 5 that the game is coming out November 27th. So just thought I'd throw that in. And then Recore is coming out spring 2016. So the really interesting thing too that they said about that was that it's Recore is they labeled it an Xbox exclusive franchise. So apparently there are plans to develop a lot more games in this and make a whole franchise out of it, which is interesting because of the fact that they haven't seen how well the game is received by its core
well,
audience.
it just shows that
Core
they
audience.
definitely have high hopes for it. It just really shows that they have high hopes for it, but we'll
Yeah,
just have to see.
but yeah, it's definitely an interesting concept. It looks cool. So then the next big thing, okay, so Phil Spencer came out and they announced that the Xbox One will have backwards compatibility. So you guys have probably all heard about this already, but it's going to have over 100 titles this holiday, by this holiday, that will be like 360 titles that will be backwards compatible for the
Well,
Xbox One.
define this holiday. I mean,
So just the holiday season, like November, December. Um, so yeah. Anyways, but that's interesting. It almost sounds like what they're gonna have, like it's gonna be like a full download. So for the 360 games, even if you have them on disc, it's like it's going. Okay, obviously, if the game's remastered, they might give you the remastered version, maybe, or I don't know, maybe they'll make you pay for that. But if they don't have the game already like a cross generation for the Xbox, seems like your 360 games you'll have to download all the game data onto your system, and the disc is purely a means of essentially activating that. It's like a key to unlocking the download. Um, so that's pretty cool. But and apparently, Sony has no interest in bringing backwards compatibility to PlayStation 4 anytime in the future.
I
Um,
personally don't see it as too big of a deal, but
yeah, yeah, it's definitely, it
I
would have
mean,
had a
because I mean,
much bigger impact off the bat.
some I can understand like some people would like to have that backwards compatibility so they could sell their like PS3 or their regular Xbox 360, and but at the same time, maybe for PlayStation users, it's not such a big rush to do that. I mean, like with the PlayStation 3, you have free online. You don't have to pay for PlayStation Plus. But then again, a lot of people already have it, so not
Hmm.
too big of a deal. But I don't know, just something about having that old system. It's kind of just like, some
Yeah,
people just don't want to let it go. And
yeah,
plus, even if you do have backwards compatibility, it doesn't mean the graphics are going to improve or anything. It's just being able to play the game on
yeah,
the
on
PS4.
your new console. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, apparently they said they're gonna take care of all like the remaking of all like the technical part of that, and all they need is the developer's approval to make these games backwards compatible. So I don't know how well developers are going to receive that, whether they're gonna be like really willing to do it or not. But as you say, like there's over 100 titles already coming to there, but a lot of them seem to be Microsoft, first party games. Um, so that'll be interesting to see. But like I don't see much of a big deal because I don't think there's a lot of people gonna be buying those old games anyways. And if they are, they're gonna be probably buying them like secondhand. Um, so, anyways, and while we're on that, there's another similar thing to essentially backwards compatibility, but there's something that was revealed last year. It's actually an EA thing, but they talked about it at the Microsoft press conference. There's a EA Access. It's like a $5 a month subscription thing, and it seems like they give you access to like certain games that you can download. So it's not like PlayStation Now, which PlayStation Now, you stream the games, and there's like a huge library of them for you to choose from, and they're always there. With EA Access, it seems like it's kind of like that, or like PlayStation Plus or something. I'm not 100% sure how like Xbox Gold memberships works, but it seems like it's going to maybe only be available for like that period of time. So you're gonna be able to download it, but then it expires once they take it off. So you'll have, it seems like maybe a month or so for each game. I'm not sure if that's how it works, but that's kind of cool. I would assume so since it's only like $5 a month. But they announced that like the new Madden game, Madden 16, and the new Need for Speed will be coming there, and really soon in the near future they will also be putting Titanfall and Dragon Age Inquisition onto that service. So that's pretty cool. So what are your opinions on that?
Uh, I mean, like that sounds, it definitely sounds great. Uh, but I personally couldn't catch most of that. I think you honestly know a bit more about it than I do.
Yeah, but It's neat. I'm not sure. I'm curious. I'm gonna do some digging and figure out what this is all about because I never remember hearing anything about EA Access last year. So, anyways, Xbox or Microsoft, anyways, they also announced a new Xbox controller. It's not like the redesigned one that they announced earlier, but it's the Xbox Elite controller for like competitive gaming, and it's got the little bumper things on the back and all that.
Oh yeah, that thing looked cool. I gotta say, definitely something that all consoles or anything should try to adopt. I mean, definitely looks like there are people on both sides, or all sides, I should say. Xbox, PC, PlayStation. PC already have it by a long shot, but it's nice that when I saw that for Xbox, I thought, oh, that's a pretty good leap. I don't know if it's already been done to some extent already. It probably has for
I
all I
think
know.
they have similar things to it, but this is like the official Microsoft one, the one that they're selling.
Yeah,
But
the custom, just watching the customization was wow.
yeah, like
That's
interchangeable
that's good.
joysticks that like vary in height and all
Yeah.
that. Interchangeable
Like even
D-pad. The
like
D-pad kind of
they
looks
made
like
yeah,
a satellite dish or something like that.
yeah.
It's kind of got
But the
that funny
nice thing
look.
is, I say like, cause like I always have the problem with my controllers where it's always just the first ones I ever get. Like if I buy another controller, that never happens. But like the first controllers that I ever get with a console, the rubber always starts to fall off or have some problems.
Yeah, I know the PS4 controllers had some problems with that. The Xbox One controller seems to be holding up very well, but
I
yeah,
don't think because it doesn't have a rubber coating. I don't think, at
does
least
it?
the
It doesn't?
default one.
Huh?
No, I think it's just plastic.
Huh? It's interesting. Um, so
That's
yeah,
that's a take this into consideration, anyone who's listening. We don't actually own Xboxes,
yes. Don't
so
worry.
take every
Member of our channel
that's
who have you have not heard speak about anything yet. He does have an Xbox, so we're not completely alienating them, but essentially we
yeah,
are
yeah.
alienating
We have
Nintendo. We'll still talk about
future
them,
guests,
but we
like
don't own
future guests that
Nintendo
we're hoping to have
products.
do have Xboxes, like they're close friends, and they'll be able to confirm a lot of this stuff with us
Yeah,
because you know
yeah. Dang, it would
I'm
have been
not.
nice to have Carl on there, cause he would.
Yes, and it is. I and it's kind of funny. I keep thinking like just anyone who just heard us say that, it's just like, oh, I'm out of here. These guys don't know anything. They don't have They don't have Xboxes.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. We follow this stuff. So yeah, this controller, of course, it's designed for like the competitive game market and stuff like that. And there was like, when I know when Call of Duty was big, I remember when I used to subscribe to PlayStation, the official magazine, they had like a promotional thing for Modern Warfare 2 where they had a PS3 controller with like the same type of stuff on the bottom. So it's like you could have quicker, faster melee and everything. So that's kind of neat.
Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
step away for a second.
yeah, dogs. So the controller, it for casual gamers, it's probably not something worthy of investing in, but it's going to be running at $150 though, which to me seems a bit of expensive, but a bit expensive. But we'll see how many people buy it. But if you're a competitive gamer, it may be something worth looking into. So the next game was Fallout 4, which Bethesda already announced at their press conference. But they showed a little bit of additional gameplay. And the big announcement that they made at the Microsoft press conference was that there will be full mod support on the Xbox One. So all mods made on the PC will be playable on your Xbox One. So I would love that to come to PS4, but uh, right now, I mean, obviously not with Fallout 4, but in future games it would be nice. Um, and apparently, I heard something. I'm not 100% sure about this, but it might be like exclusive to the Xbox One or something. But like I know there's some bundle or something you can get that Fallout 3 comes free with it. But anyways, so the next thing they showed was Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. So Diego, I know you've watched probably a little more gameplay than me, so I don't know what did you think of the trailer that they showed?
Well, I definitely thought it showed a lot more gameplay of new zombies that they had, and it seems to honestly be even more focused on the zombies. So at least from the footage they showed, um, and I think they mentioned I think a single player story this time around. That
Hmm.
like the footage they showed, like as I said, showed more of the zombies. They showed at first this little crazy one, which definitely seemed like he would be fun to play. And one of his powers, he could summon like this big robot suit, and it definitely reminded me a lot of like Titanfall. And it
Oh
really just
yeah.
gives you that Titanfall vibe.
Yeah, I know there was also that one that almost was like I feel like he was kind of like a Green Lantern type of zombie, only he didn't have like Green Lantern's powers or anything, but I don't know, he reminded me of Green Lantern or just some other
Like,
superhero.
was it? He was a superhero, but I don't know if
Yeah,
he
he was
reminded
like
me
a
of Green
superhero
Lantern.
type thing. But anyways,
It was more like Superman. He reminded me of like Bizarro.
yeah. So anyways, next up was Forza 6, and they brought down the Ford GT, the newest one, which was pretty cool. They brought it down in the middle of their stage, which was I should also comment about this that I didn't like Microsoft's setup that much, but it worked really well for the car, I think. But they had like a few people up front, and they had like a big stage area up there, but they also had this like circular platform in the middle right there, um, of the people, and they brought down the car right there. But yeah, they brought out Henry Ford III too on stage to present the game. But anyways, it comes out September 15. And then they had a teaser trailer for Dark Souls 3. Um, Seems like people reacted to that pretty interesting. I think a lot of people were anticipating that, but at the same time, it was kind of seemed odd. Like I'm not sure if they totally closed the door on the Demon Souls franchise. I don't know. Do you know if they did or because if they didn't, it seemed like they would probably make like a Demon Souls 3 or whatever before they make a Dark Souls 3. But anyway, um, so next they showed the Division. It was a cinematic trailer, and then they announced that there will be a beta coming in December, exclusive to the Xbox. I mean, there will be a beta coming to PlayStation and the PC later, but that will be early 2016. So, which is weird because it seemed like earlier, like last year, the Division was more of kind of set up to be like a better experience on PlayStation or whatever. But this year it seems like Xbox is the one that's kind of behind the Division more, which is seemed very odd to me. But anyways, and then also along the lines of Tom Clancy, there was Rainbow Six Siege. And with Rainbow Six Siege, Vegas and Vegas 2 are coming free with it, and Siege is coming out November 13. So. That's it. Now, I don't know, Diego. Do you like to play a bunch of indies? Cause I play some indies, but
I mean, like some are fun, but I've never honestly tried them too much. It's not that like I
hmm
don't like them. It's just that I've honestly just never tried too many.
yeah. Well, I know like PlayStation, like last year they set up to be like we're the home of indies, but and a lot of indie developers seem to be trying to like avoid Xbox because like I know a while ago, maybe 6 months ago or whatever, it might have been a little longer than that, but Microsoft basically said like, "Oh, like the indie developers. You either bring your game to our platform first, or we don't want your game on our platform." And essentially, that's what they said. So PlayStation was being much more friendly to them, and more indie developers were wanting to partner with Sony. But there's actually quite a few indies coming to Xbox. So there's 1,000 indie developers as part of the ID at Xbox program. And some of the titles that they mentioned, there's Tacoma by Fulbright Studios, Ashen by Aurora 44, and it had this really crazy creature, like this bird whale creature. I thought it was pretty interesting, pretty creative. And then there was Beyond Eyes by Tiger and Squid, and then Cuphead by MDHR. So it kind of takes the cartoons of the 50s or whatever, 40s, 50s or whatever, and like Felix the Cat or all those other Woody Woodpecker, and basically puts it into a game. It seems like this game's been in production for quite a while. Um, but yeah, the release date is 1936 plus 80 years. So
That
I
one,
thought,
that one just like I want to know as much as I can about that one. That one looks actually really interesting in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, I saw it like in Game Informer like maybe almost a year back or something like that. Like maybe not that long ago, but quite a ways back. And it seems like it's been in development for quite a long time. But I didn't didn't seem to be too interesting then, but now that I've seen some of the gameplay, it's actually looking pretty intriguing. So also along, we already talked about EA early access and all that stuff, but there's a thing that Xbox has, which is the Xbox Game Preview, and it's essentially an early access application, I guess you could say, or subscription thing for people that own an Xbox One. So for once, early access will not be, just a PC thing. So that's interesting. It would be cool if they came out with something like that for PlayStation 4, but and then another indie they had was Ion by the creators of DayZ. So, anyways,
I almost mistook that for that other one.
oh yeah, yeah,
What was that other
Adrift. It
Adrift?
it looked a lot like Adrift, but anyways, so then they talked about Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider, I should call it by that, and that's coming out November 10, or is that November 16? I can't tell. I think it's November 10, but yeah, it's November 10 because I know because it's coming at the exact same day as Fallout 4, which in my opinion that's kind of stupid because for any people that were wanting to pick up both of those games, I guarantee you the majority of the people that are picking up those two games would prefer to play Fallout 4 over Tomb Raider, and they're going to be busy with Fallout 4 for probably months to come. So, yeah. That might hurt some of their pre-orders or whatever, with the exception of maybe people that have already pre-ordered the game, if it's even up for pre-order. I don't know, because I'm not getting it because I don't have an Xbox One. But if it is a timed exclusive, which is still unconfirmed, but everything leads us to believe, like there's a lot of chatter going on that leads us to believe it is a timed exclusive. But I'll get it on the PS4 probably, whenever it comes out, or if I have a PC by then, get it on PC. So the next thing they show is the Rare Replay Collection, which is a collection of 30 Rare games, 30 games made by Rare, for $30, and it's for their 30th anniversary. So I think that's pretty cool. Had games like Banjo-Kazooie, and did it have Crash Bandicoot? I think it had Crash Bandicoot, or is Crash Bandicoot even a Rare game? I don't know. But anyways, they showed a lot of cool looking games there. And there's a new game that they're making called Sea of Thieves. So what did you think of that one?
That one, like there's no one like I've known that doesn't like a good old-fashioned naval battle. Just there's never enough of those. I mean, it's like after I got a little taste of it in like Assassin's Creed 3, I couldn't get enough.
Yeah.
I wanted ship battles. I mean, like in Assassin's Creed 3, I didn't want to like leave the ship, and I was like so disappointed when I got back on land. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because like it's not just the single player thing too. It's like the co-op or whatever. So it's kind of like best way that I would describe it is it's essentially Guns of Icarus with naval combat, and it's got a more a different art style. It's kind of more of, I don't know, maybe a pastel art style.
In Guns of Icarus, do they still name them ships like the HMS, like
Yeah.
whatever?
I know they have like there's Spires and there's, oh, why can't I think of the other one? Anyways, but yeah, they still call them ships, I guess. So next up, we're actually going pretty long here, but let's try to finish this up. Fable Legends, free to play. It's coming out on Xbox One and Windows 10. And the cool thing about this is it is cross-play. So both players on Xbox One and Windows 10 will be able to play this together. And the next up, they talked about Oculus. And, well, actually, I should just say both the VR / AR headsets. So they talked about Oculus and then the HoloLens. And with the Oculus, they announced that now an Xbox One controller will come default with every every unit of the Oculus. Um, and what's really cool is that they are now allowing you to play your Xbox One games with the Oculus Rift by streaming. By playing it through, you have to stream the game through your Xbox to your PC to the Oculus. So it seems like a complicated setup, but you can actually play games on Xbox One with the Oculus Rift. So yeah. And then they, of course, I said they talked about HoloLens, and they used the Minecraft demonstration. They had a table out there, and the guy was like manipulating the world or whatever. And it was really cool because, like, I know a lot of like server monitors or whatever, like they can like play God and like spawn things into the world, and this seems like it would give you even more of a power trip out of that. So the last thing that they showed was Gears of War. Well, actually, there's two things. There's the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which is the original Gears of War remastered. But then they announced a new Gears, which is, I think, just called Gears 4. So tell us a little bit about that one.
I was kind of a little surprised that there was going to be a sequel to Gears of War, because I kind of really thought it ended. But at the same time, I'm eager to see where they're going to go with it. Like, I didn't quite get what the plot was in the game. I didn't hear too much of it. But, yeah, I'm eager to see where they go with it. If it's still the Locusts, it'll be rather...
Because you did look into it more, and did you find out where it fits into the storyline?
I think it's a sequel. I'm pretty sure it's a sequel.
Okay.
Like I said before, I don't know enough about it that I can really feel comfortable explaining anything.
Okay, so that's coming out holiday 2016. And then to wrap things up, they mentioned a couple things. Windows 10 is coming out July 29, so you can upgrade to Windows 10 then. And Phil Spencer was also saying that they're going to have lots of new first-party reveals in the near future and later this year. So that's interesting. I think Xbox One is, or not Xbox, but just the Xbox brand, Microsoft, is doing pretty good at their first-party exclusives. I know PlayStation, I think PlayStation, in my opinion, has some of my better exclusives, because I'm not a big fan of Halo. Gears of War looked interesting, but I've never been able to play it.
Lost our subscribers.
But I really like games like Uncharted and Ratchet and Clank, and Metal Gear Solid used to be a PlayStation exclusive, but anyways, and there's lots of others. But the thing is, I know PlayStation, we should probably actually talk about this later, but they don't have, seems like this fall, now that this Q4, since Uncharted 4 has been delayed into next year, they don't have any first party exclusives coming out in Q4 of 2015, whereas the Xbox One or as Xbox, it seems like they do. So yeah, well, that's it. I guess I'll rate the conference. I would say Microsoft, they did okay. It was definitely better than last year. I'd probably give them a B- on this conference. Maybe even a B, but I know a lot of people said they didn't do too good, but I don't know. I think they actually had a lot to share, and the whole like supported mods on the Fallout 4 was really cool, and they had a lot of cool stuff with the HoloLens and Oculus. Hopefully that stuff actually works the way they say it will. And honestly, the amount of support that they're giving to indie developers really surprised me. It seems like they've done a 180 from their previous stance. But anyways, so do you have any closing thoughts you want to share, Diego?
I don't really know. You seem to really cover it pretty well.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll have more coverage for you on the other press conferences, and Diego will join me again when we talk about the Sony press conference. So
hopefully we'll have a lot more stuff to say in that.
Yes, and Batman. We'll just say Batman. So he's got a lot to say about that. I can guarantee you.
Anything Arkham, anything in the Arkham series,
Yeah.
So I can feel comfortable talking about that at least.
Okay, well, thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next video.